On this episode of Game Shack, I review Arcade1up's partycade version of MS PAC-MAN. I'm going to tell you whether or not this $130 version game is worth that money, and is it something you should think about picking up. All that and more coming up next. Hey everybody, welcome on back into Game Shack. I am your host, JDV. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so this particular unit I got off of QVC for 130 bucks, and I think maybe they charged me 10 bucks for shipping, something like that, but I think I got the whole thing for about around $140, and I found that to be a pretty intriguing price point, which is why I jumped on it. And yeah, QVC is a place that you ought to check into every now and again, because sometimes they do have killer deals. Sometimes they have really, really bad deals, like hundreds of dollars more than you'd pay for it at Best Buy or Walmart, but sometimes, like this, you can get a pretty good deal. And of course, you can get their 5-payment plan and all that kind of thing. So it does make for a very attractive way to get into the hobby if you haven't before, or if you're looking to add one of the titles that's on this cabinet to your arcade. One of the more interesting things about these partycades from Arcade1up is that they have a 17-inch screen in them, which is as big as the screens that you're going to get in the 3/4 scale versions of their games. When you take it out of the box and it's all pre-assembled, which is one of the nice benefits of this thing, not only do you get a lit marquee and really good speakers and the same exact controllers you get on the normal size games, you also get the same size screen. So that makes a real sort of a big impact for something that really isn't all that big in and of itself. It's quite hefty, it weighs about 20 pounds. One of the other really interesting things about this game is how many different ways you can mount it or put it up. Of course, you can put it on a table. It actually comes with 2 little side legs that match the colors of the cabinet. You can hang it off of a door, and you can actually mount it to a wall using the bracket kit that comes with it. In fact, all of these things come with the kit included, and again, that helps the value proposition of this unit. Besides MS PAC-MAN, you get 9 other games, so 10 games total on this. You get Dig Dug, Rally X, New Rally X, King and Balloon, Tower of Druga, Rompers, Pack and Pal, Hoppin' Mappy, and Mappy. So a decent variety of games, although I'm going to talk a little bit about some cons about that. But really what you're getting here are 3 headline games. You get MS PAC-MAN, you get Dig Dug, and you get Mappy, and really any one of those is an A-list game. If you're interested in getting MS PAC-MAN from a licensed in a licensed way, this is the cheapest way that I'm aware of to do that. So let's talk about pros on this thing. One, it comes pre-assembled. You don't have to do anything to it other than maybe add on the legs or the mounting brackets. But the reality is you can pull this thing out of the box, take the screen wrapper off, plug it in, and you are playing within maybe 2 minutes of getting this package. That is unlike other Arcade1up games and other game companies where you have to make the cabinet yourself. So that's a big plus right off the bat if you don't want to mess around with building stuff. It's a very attractive unit, has a lit marquee, the sides themselves are really nice pink coloring. It looks like a real arcade machine, just in a smaller form factor. It really does have stunning good looks. In terms of the controls, they're the same exact controls that you would expect to find on any other Arcade1up. This is going to be a 4-way gate on here to make playing Pac-Man and Mappy and Dig Dug and all that easier than maybe on some multi-cades where you have 8-way gates. Has simple volume control and an on-off button. You can get into the menu system in terms of changing a few things like lives, difficulty. You can put on the scan lines and all that. Now, not every game will have exactly the same options, but you do get what we have now come accustomed to from Arcade1up, which is some ability to go in there and essentially change the dip switches. In terms of the sound of this game, the sound is nice and loud and crisp, no problems there. There are no headphone jacks though, and I'll get into that in the cons. But staying on the positives, the screen is huge. It's 17 inches, which is the same size screen that you get in the other 3/4 scale arcade machines. And so because you tend to be a little closer to this game because there isn't as much depth to it, it's only, well, you can see here, it's only about maybe 9 inches deep. You really end up getting quite close to the screen on this, which makes its already large, crisp screen look even better. I believe this is the BOE screen because you can view this from any angle and it looks good. The contrast is good. The blacks are nice and crisp and crunchy, and the colors are bright and vibrant. It's a great screen, which brings me to another one of my pros on this thing. If you wanted to mod this, if you wanted to put in, let's say, a Raspberry Pi, or if you wanted to just like take this screen out and put it into some other Arcade1up game, you probably could do that. It is a very good monitor. Sticking with the pros of this game, all of the games are very well emulated and look very nice. The star of the show, of course, is Miss Pac-Man, and that game plays brilliantly. And when you start the game, it will remember your high scores, even if you've unplugged the game for a while. You can see here I just put up like 27,000 when I first got the game, and I actually have had this game unplugged for about a week or 10 days, and it still remembers the high score. So if you're worried about this thing losing your high scores, you shouldn't, because it will remember your high scores. All of the games are very good looking, well emulated, they sound good, they play good. It's everything that you'd kind of expect from an Arcade1up game at this point. So are there any cons in this? And say, well, yeah, there are actually, I'd say 3 cons. One, even though it is cool that it has some nice variety of games, the games that they put on here, like Rally X and New Rally X, some of them are horizontal based games. So you're losing a whole lot of screen in this, and this ends up being a fairly small little image. Now, because you are closer, that damage is a little bit less, but still I would have liked to have seen all vertical games on this machine, because there are, I think, actually 4 or 5 horizontal games on here, and that's kind of a big bummer. I really wish that all of these games were vertical. I also don't love the fact that there's Rally X, New Rally X. I mean, we don't need doubles of those same games. It really does feel like sort of this is the garbage bin where everything that they really couldn't figure out where to put on a real cabinet, so to speak. And lastly, my last big beef about this is you cannot pause a game like you can on all of the newer games. I really do wish that this thing had the ability to pause, because hey, let's face facts, sometimes you gotta go and eat dinner, you gotta go pee, whatever the heck. It would be very nice to hit pause. And yes, I know your purist out there is going to say, well, the original arcade you couldn't pause either. Yeah, but the original arcade game you couldn't pick up like this. All right, these are similaricums. They are not actually real arcade games. So what's my final verdict on this Miss Pac-Man Partycade from Arcade1up? Well, I think it's a pretty good deal for just about anybody who is interested in home arcade machines. The fact that you can mount this in 3 different ways, on a table, on a wall, or off of a door, that's very cool. The fact that you have this beautiful 17-inch BOE screen that just looks fantastic from any angle with great colors and great contrast, that's an amazing value. The fact that it looks so good out of the box with the lit marquee and it's already all put together. All you really have to do is pull off a piece of plastic and you're playing. That is very appealing. If you don't have a lot of space in your arcade, or you're looking just to add one of these titles to your arcade that you already own but don't want to dedicate a whole slot to it, this is another great option for you. In other words, this machine is just about for everybody. In fact, if you wanted to mod this thing, you could mod the heck out of it. Like I said, drop a Raspberry Pi or Pandora's box or something else into this. I think it would hold it pretty easily. I'm going to keep it stock because as it is, I think it is pretty amazing. The few quibbles I have with it really are quite minor when you look at the price point on this. And lastly, I'll say this. I think that this thing would make a fantastic gift for your arcade fan in your life for this Christmas. As I record this, we're exactly 4 months away to Christmas. This thing is in stock. It's at QVC and sent other places as well. But if you look for it now, and if you have a little bit of bread now, it would make an outstanding present, either wrapped up in the big box it comes in, or just kind of like this and slap a bow on it and you're done. In fact, this machine is so cool, it is making me seriously think about kind of ditching almost all of my other 3/4 scale games and just going to this partycade type shape, because it is such a space saver, but you're still getting the same amazing screen. Anyway, it's a big thumbs up from me. Definitely think about picking this up if you are looking to jump in the hobby or are looking for an outstanding present for somebody in your family. All right, if you like this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up on the way out the door. It really does help this channel. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell so you know when other videos like this come out. Love each other. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the Game Shack. Mwah! Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.